Win News.
Tonight, the Hazelwood mine fire inquiry underway. St Hilary's residents return home 6 weeks after being relocated, and the doors open to Bairnsdale's new library. Good evening, I'm Bruce Roberts. Also tonight, a special milestone for the Latrobe Valley's oldest Meals on Wheels volunteer. Morwell residents have vented their concerns on the opening day of the Hazelwood mine fire inquiry. 60 people attended today's first community consultation, where the long-term health effects, clean-up and mine rehabilitation topped the agenda.
The Hazelwood mine fire might be out, but there's still plenty of questions burning in the community.
What happens to the kids 5 or 10 years down the track that have been breathing in this damn fly ash since the start of the fire?
I'd like to know how they're going to stop it from happening again. Health
is the primary concern.
We've seen a lot of people who have been sick and who still are sick, from heart attacks to breathing, pneumonia-like symptoms, and serious nosebleeds, aches and pains.
Fly ash, you don't know what's in it. We all know that it was putting out the carbon monoxide and everything else, but what else is in the fly ash?
While a street resident, Howard Williams, still can't return home.
We're really concerned. The clean-up is far too little and it's a real schmozzle.
This afternoon, the Hazelwood mine fire inquiry staged its first community consultation.
We want to know what you want to have the particular focus of the inquiry on.
Participants were asked to answer 3 questions as part of the roundtable style consultation. What worked well and what didn't work well in the lead up to, during and in fighting the fire, and what should be done to prevent such a fire in the future and in response to it should it happen again.
It will, there's no doubt about it. It's the third one in how many years?
Will the batters be covered over? Will this mine be safe? Who knows?
There is another community consultation underway in Morwell tonight. There will be 5 more after that, 2 in Morwell and 1 in Moe, Churchill and Traralgon. Brooke Van Newton, Win News.
Meanwhile, the owner of the Hazelwood mine has made a $50,000 donation to the Gippsland Emergency Relief Fund, or GERF. It takes GDF Sewer's total contribution to the fund to $250,000. GERF is continuing efforts to raise the $160,000 which was paid out to victims of this year's bushfires. It's calling on the community to dig deep to make up the remaining $30,000. Morwell residents and businesses heavily affected by the Hazelwood mine fire are continuing to recover. Among them 54 residents from St Hilary's community house aged care facility who returned today, 6 weeks after being relocated away from the smoke.
Residents were happy to be home. One by one they trickled through the doors amid a mammoth relocation effort involving Ambulance Victoria, the Flying Doctors and the Department of Health.
We've worked really well together with them. They've coordinated together with us to really make this process as seamless and as comfortable for our residents as possible.
6 weeks ago, the aged care facility was forced to relocate its 54 residents following the threat of ash during the Hazelwood mine fire.
We'd been here for 3 weeks and we'd been dealing with smoke and ash for those 3 weeks. And I think at the end of the day, it was the right decision to make.
Residents were distributed across 3 sites in Druin and Traralgon. Among them was 102-year-old EILEEN Stritch, who today was happy to be back.
The others were very good, but it's not the same as here.
The recovery effort has continued across town. Following a significant downturn, Latrobe Eye Care received a $10,000 boost via the state government's Morwell Business Relief Fund.
We're probably down about 1/3 throughout that period of time, which is a huge loss to us.
Meanwhile, union representatives met with Shadow Industrial Relations Minister NATALIE Hutchins to discuss the aftermath of the fire on workers. Explosive claims emerged from the roundtable discussion.
There were also incidences of particularly small business and retail workers that were at the time forced to attend work or basically face being put off.
Alexandria TZATZIMAKIS, Win News.
Morwell residents who endured 45 days of smoke and ash from the Hazelwood mine fire had a chance to spell out their grievances today. The official inquiry into the fire held its first public meeting. And as Rihanna Whitson reports, top of the agenda were health concerns and the management of the fire.
6 weeks on, and these elderly Morwell residents are only now returning to their nursing home.
Oh, yeah, I was worried about her, and I thought we were never going to get here.
102-year-old Eileen Stretch was among the residents transferred from St Hilary's nursing home when the partial evacuation advice to the town's most vulnerable was first issued in late February. Those affected by the fire today had the chance to speak directly to the board of the Mine Fire Inquiry, headed by former Judge Bernard Teague.
What do we hope to achieve together?
For 45 days, they put up with dust, smoke and ash.
I think the clean-up has not been as good as it could have been. It's been very, very slow.
The session also heard the residents' concerns about the health effects of the smoke, an issue that continues to worry them. Questions about the regulation of the mine also dominated today's session and what would be done to prevent it happening again.
While that thing is open and there's coal everywhere, nice and dry, it's going to happen again.
First thing that needs to be done is that we need to cap the coal.
People criticise the operator of Hazelwood coal mine, GDF Sewers, the state government's health warnings, pollution advice and the lack of support for a clean-up that's still continuing. It's the first of 7 community consultations into the Marathon Hazelwood coal mine fire. Others will be held in nearby towns, including Moe, before the formal inquiry gets underway in 6 weeks. Rihanna Whitson, ABC News, Morwell.
Angry Morwell residents who claim the Hazelwood mine fire damaged their health and ruined their homes have vented their frustration on the first day of an inquiry into the blaze. They want to know why the fire was left to burn for so long and what will be done to ensure it can't happen again.
This is just a tiny sample of the soot found inside Jolanta Steer's house.
I went to the doctor and the doctor said, you need to move away.
She lives 5 minutes from the Hazelwood open-cut mine, which burnt for 45 days. She says everything she's ever owned has been damaged.
I'm angry, frustrated, I'm depressed.
She's one of around 60 residents who made formal submissions to the Hazelwood mine fire inquiry today. There were 2 overriding concerns: the impact on health and the clean-up.
It affected my breathing. They found out I had clots in my legs, which went through my heart, and now they're in my lungs.
I want to know, is that a result of the fire? Is that going to happen to me or other people that I love? It's just not right.
10, 20 years' time, when people are trying to have kids and they can't have kids, or they've been told they've got cancer or lung disease, it's a different thing.
Between now and the end of August, the inquiry will try to determine the cause of the fire, assess whether the actions of the mine owners were appropriate and look into the emergency response. It's being led by Justice Bernard Teague, who also chaired the Bushfires Royal Commission. Today was the first of 7 community meetings, with more to come in Moe, Churchill and Traralgon.
Where do you go for help? It's just not there.
Christy Cooper, 7 News.